Imagine the richest man who ever walked the earth. Now imagine that all your fortune did not come from luck, inheritance, or chance. Solomon, king of Israel, had wealth that would make any modern billionaire look like an apprentice. Gold, silver, palaces, international trade. None of this came about by magic. And the truth is that very few people today know the real reason why Solomon prospered in such an extraordinary way. There is a hidden habit, a secret so powerful that if you decide to apply it in your life, you can completely change your financial and spiritual trajectory. Stay with me until the end of this video because today I'm going to reveal what almost no one teaches, the true foundation of Solomon's prosperity, and how you can start living this principle today. Many believe that Solomon became rich just because he asked God for wisdom, and magically wealth simply fell from the sky. But this view is superficial and dangerous. The wisdom Solomon received was not a decorative gift. It was a living, powerful, practical tool, and he used it. Solomon applied strategic principles in the administration of his kingdom, built intelligent political alliances, organized tributes, expanded trade routes, and developed governance systems never seen in his time. In other words, wisdom generated action. It wasn't luck. It wasn't chance. It was the result of a disciplined, daily, constant habit. The tireless search for understanding applied to the practice of leadership, finance, and life. And that is the brutal difference between those who dream of prosperity and those who actually build it. To understand the grandeur of what Solomon built, we need to go back to its origins. Solomon was the son of King David, the greatest warrior and leader Israel had ever known. When David grew old, God chose Solomon, still young, to take the throne. And it was at this critical moment, faced with the immense responsibility of leading an entire nation, that Solomon made a request that would change his life forever. He did not ask for gold, nor power, nor fame. He asked for wisdom. In 1 Kings chapter 3 it is recorded, Solomon asked God for an understanding heart, capable of discerning between right and wrong to govern his people well. And God, seeing the purity of that request, granted not only unparalleled wisdom, but also riches and honor that had never been seen before. But it is important to understand, Solomon did not keep wisdom just as a spiritual trophy. He used her. He applied each divine counsel to practical decisions, signed intelligent international treaties. He organized Israel's economy in an unprecedented way. He developed trade routes that exponentially increased the kingdom's wealth. He oversaw the construction of the magnificent temple in Jerusalem, which required large-scale logistics, administration, and leadership. Solomon was not just a wise man. He was a brilliant strategist, an excellent administrator, and a leader who understood that wisdom without action is wisdom wasted. Every step he took, every decision he made, was the result of a deep understanding of spiritual principles applied in a practical way. And that's precisely where the key lies that so many today still don't see. Solomon did not prosper just because he had wisdom. The real reason why his life was marked by such incomparable prosperity lies in something that few realize. A daily habit, silent, but absolutely transformative. Solomon was, first and foremost, a tireless seeker of instruction. While many believe that wisdom is something you receive once and keep like a trophy, Solomon understood that true wisdom is a continuous flow, a learning that never ends. He dedicated his days to gaining more understanding, to observing, to studying, to listening, to growing. For him, each decision was preceded by reflection. Each victory was the result of accumulated instruction. In Proverbs, a book written by him, Solomon recorded, "The wise will listen and grow in knowledge, and the understanding will acquire skills to rule." Proverbs 1:5. It wasn't theory, it was daily practice. Solomon observed the other kingdoms. He analyzed commercial strategies, understood economic laws, studied social patterns, and anticipated political behavior. His wealth was not the result of lucky moments, but of a solid construction, based on information applied with intelligence. While many expect miracles, Solomon built bridges. While others relied only on what they already knew, he expanded his horizons with each dawn. Every morning, a new learning experience. Every night, a new reflection. The forgotten habit that built Solomon's greatness was not just asking for wisdom. He sought, nurtured, and applied this wisdom every day of his life. This silent discipline shaped not just the history of one man, but of an entire people. And what's most impressive, This same habit is still available to anyone who wants to take it today. The question is, how many are actually willing to practice it? We live in a time where immediacy rules. People want quick results. They want easy solutions. They want prosperity without process. They seek blessing, but despise preparation. They cry out for abundance, but they do not have the patience to acquire wisdom. While Solomon dedicated years of his life to building knowledge and the practical application of wisdom, many today give up at the first difficulty, exchanging discipline for entertainment and planting for empty shortcuts. How many people spend hours consuming shallow content, but find it tiring to study principles that could change their financial history? How many pray for prosperity, but neglect the necessary preparation to manage it responsibly? Solomon did not become the most prosperous man of his generation just by having faith. He had a faith that acted, a faith that studied, that calculated, that planned, that transformed understanding into movement. The brutal difference between Solomon and most people today is right there. He knew that true prosperity is not luck, nor a prize for the impatient. It is God's response combined with man's faithfulness in applying received wisdom. Solomon cultivated understanding like someone cultivating a precious garden. Each decision was a seed planted in the soil of wisdom. And it was this silent constancy, day after day, that built an empire of peace, wealth, and influence. Today the world teaches that if you want something, just want it intensely. But Solomon teaches us that wanting is just the beginning. Prospering requires a daily commitment to seeking, learning, and practicing wisdom. If the habit that transformed Solomon's life was the daily search for applied wisdom, then the question that everyone needs to ask today is, how do I start to live this in practice? The first answer is simple but profound. Make wisdom a daily priority. Before seeking rewards, seek understanding. Before wanting results, prepare to sustain them. Start by delving into the scriptures with the eyes of a learner, not just a devotee. Read Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Jesus' teachings on stewardship and administration. Each page brings principles that, when applied, transform lives, businesses, and families. Furthermore, extend your search to practical areas of life. Study finance, leadership, entrepreneurship, not as someone who accumulates empty information, but as someone who seeks tools to build something bigger than themselves. Invest time learning how to manage what God has already placed in your hands, even if it seems little today. Seek wise counsel. Be around people who are moving towards excellence. Seek mentors who don't just talk about success, but who live solid principles in all areas of life. And above all, apply. Don't wait for the perfect situation. Don't wait to feel ready. Start today with what you have, where you are. Every small attitude of wisdom applied today is a seed that, at the right time, will generate fruits of prosperity tomorrow. The difference between those who only hear about prosperity and those who experience prosperity is exactly here. True wisdom is not to be admired. It is to be practiced. Solomon was great because he decided to live what he learned. And that decision is also before you now. Solomon did not become the wisest and most prosperous man in history just because he asked God. He became it because he decided to honor the gift he received, applying wisdom to each choice, each opportunity, each challenge. God is still looking for men and women today who are willing to live in the same way. People who understand that true blessing is not just having, but knowing how to manage, multiply, and serve with what they have received. The prosperity that comes from God is not the result of chance. It is the answer to those who decide to live in line with eternal principles. Wisdom is the foundation. Work is building. And loyalty is what sustains everything. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7 reminds us, the beginning of wisdom is, get wisdom, yea, with all that thou hast, get understanding. Today, you have a choice before you. You can continue waiting for something to change on the outside, or you can decide to transform your insides, aligning your mind, your heart, and your actions with the wisdom that generates eternal fruit. What will you do with the understanding you receive today? The decision is yours, and it is your decision that will determine your destiny.